Hi friends! Today we're going to talk about pumpkin pie. Delicious, it's one of my favorites, and it's also really hard to get to be something that you can eat on a keto diet. And for Jo especially, since she's trying to maintain a therapeutic keto level, which is even higher ketone levels than your nutritional ketosis that people are more familiar with, we really need to make sure that those carbs are dialed in and managed. What we managed to do, what we figured out, was a way to offset some of the carbs with adding some additional fiber. We're not going to use a graham cracker crust. We're going to use a nut crust with coconut oil instead of butter, and then we're going to have some coconut cream to bring up the fat content in that pumpkin pie filling. So here you can see I'm weighing out the nuts. We're doing macadamias, pecans, and walnuts. Just trying to weigh these out. The recipe I got calls for 325 grams, and I'm just going to test this out starting with 60 grams for each nut, which is not going to come out, obviously. It's going to be about 180, so it's going to be a lot less. I'm going to eyeball that and then decide whether or not to add more. And then I'm grinding it in this wonderful grinder. Doesn't take long. Over here, I already have the macadamia and the pecans. I'm going to add the walnut that I just did. Also going to throw in a little bit of cinnamon. This is sort of a to-taste thing. The cinnamon, simply organic, Ceylon cinnamon. It's supposed to be the best type of cinnamon. Gets the strongest flavor. I am going to add just a little dash of real salt. Another dash. Oh heck, another dash of salt too. So I ended up moving this into a bigger bowl. We're gonna add some organic monk fruit powder. Now this one, it's actually 1/8 of a teaspoon per teaspoon. If you're using 3 teaspoons, you're gonna use 3/8, which are in this little tiny scoop. So I'm gonna add a few of these, actually I think 6 total. The monk fruit powder, put in there, and then I happen to have some of this Madagascar pure ground vanilla. This stuff is really nice, and especially for something that's a powder base. I'm not gonna measure it or anything. I'm just gonna add a little bit. I went ahead, decided to add another 20 grams of each nut type. I'd rather have a little more of the crust than a little less. We can always use it in something else. We actually have some pie baking things, so if we need to, we can do that. So I'm gonna grind this up and add it to the rest of the mix. One thing I wanted to say is I noticed since I'm grinding it fresh, usually you add butter to something like this, but I'm actually finding macadamia, really a lot of oil comes out of it, so it ends up clumping like you would expect this crust to clump. Here's where we're gonna add some coconut oil. I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons. Here's the first tablespoon using organic spectrum coconut oil. Just gonna put this in here and then I'll get another one. All right, now I'm gonna sort of fold this in. It's not much of a fold. I'm gonna carefully cut it, and I'll add more if we need it. Since this is a keto pie we're making, I'm adding some organic psyllium husk, and I want it to be as fine as possible, so I'm gonna go ahead and grind that down too. I'm using a single blade for this one because I don't want to, not trying to chop it, I just want it to grind down kind of like a bean. So whole psyllium husk, organic fiber. This is 5 grams of fiber per tablespoon. So I'm doing 2 tablespoons to add 10 grams of straight up fiber to help offset other carbs. That really ground it down very fine. The other thing this will do, I'm gonna add some to the actual pie mix too. This will thicken up, just like chia does, and just like a gelatin or very similar to that. So that'll help for the actual pie filling. And here we go. After putting it in the fridge, letting it cool and harden for 20 to 30 minutes. This is actually the next day, but it should only take 20 to 30 minutes. All right, let's cut this beta. It cuts very cleanly, which is nice. Let's see here. Serving is really about an eighth of the pie. I'm going a little small today. Normally we would weigh this. I'll put that over there. And we'll hand this off to Joe.
Yummy.
Okay, so how did this pumpkin pie come out? Well, if it hadn't been good, we actually have some here to show you right now. So we're gonna have to put in some clips that we took a little bit earlier. It ended up coming out really good. It tasted delicious. The nut blend for the crust was really tasty and really went well. The inside was great. The gelatin that we use a blend of the agar, which added some fiber so we can kind of offset the sweetness of the pumpkin pie and the carbs that are in there. It's a dessert, but it really can be a meal because it's just pumpkin, nuts, oils. It's kind of a nice snack. Joe really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Baby Jay enjoyed it. So we're going to make more of that for sure. Comment below with any questions or responses if you make it. I'd love to hear how you might tweak it a little bit and just what your experience is with it. Thank you and have a great day.